Love that emergency lipstick.
I did, yeah. I should hide it from the camera.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't know, this is where babies come from. Yeah, because I'm gay. Bye.
No.
What did you learn from Jennifer Lawrence?
She taught me how to pee in the woods.
Wow, that's fantastic. Yeah,
Kentucky,
I gotta write
so
that.
Is your go-to face to ruin a photo? Solid.
Yeah. There's also Mousy.
Oh,
wait, no, this one's better.
You already know her face. You've seen her trip on the Oscar stairs not once, not twice, but 3 times across different award shows and then get up laughing. You've seen her say exactly what she thinks in interviews while publicists in the back of the room probably had silent panic attacks. You've seen her eat a hot dog at the SAG Awards while other actresses were nibbling on nothing and pretending to be above hunger. You've seen her call out pay inequality in Hollywood when every agent and manager told her to be quiet and be grateful. You've seen her be loud, weird, honest, clumsy, bold, and completely, unapologetically herself in an industry that was specifically designed to sand all of that down. That woman is Jennifer Lawrence. And if you think this video is just about a celebrity, you are watching the wrong lesson, because what Jennifer Lawrence has been doing since she was 21 years old and standing on the biggest stages in the world is something that most adults spend their entire lives trying and failing to figure out. She stopped performing for people who were never going to be satisfied. And the moment she did that, everything changed. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, something in the way you see yourself is going to shift. And there is a lesson at the very end of this that will completely reframe how you think about building your future. Do not leave before we get there. Here is the uncomfortable truth that nobody puts in the motivational posters. The world does not actually reward authenticity at first. At first, the world punishes it. At first, the world looks at the person who refuses to shrink and says, too much, too loud, too honest, too real, too intense, not polished enough, not careful enough, not playing the game correctly. And for most people, that is where the story ends. They hear the feedback, they make the adjustments, they sand themselves down, and they spend the rest of their lives wondering why they feel like a stranger inside their own life. Jennifer Lawrence heard that feedback. Hollywood gave it to her early, often, and explicitly, and she looked at it, thought about it, and then did something that would alter the entire arc of her career and her life. She ignored it, not out of arrogance, not out of ignorance, out of a deep and almost stubborn conviction that who she actually was enough, more than enough. And the world slowly, then suddenly, agreed. Lesson 1. Jennifer Lawrence does not edit herself in real time for your comfort. Think about every major interview she has given. She talks about being hungry at award shows. She talks about not understanding why she had to lose weight for a role. She talks about farting in front of people she's just met. She talks about pay gaps and double standards with the same casual directness she uses to talk about what she ate for breakfast. And the room is almost always slightly shocked because we are so conditioned to expect that a woman at her level of fame and power will be smooth, managed, curated, strategic, and Jennifer Lawrence walks in and is just a person, a specific, particular, fully formed human person with opinions and appetites and zero interest in pretending otherwise. And here's what that costs her. Nothing. Not a single thing that mattered. And here's what it gives her. Everything. Every deal she has ever negotiated from a position of genuine power was built on a foundation of people knowing exactly who they were dealing with. You cannot manipulate someone who shows you who they are. You cannot diminish someone who is not performing for you. Jennifer Lawrence is undiminishable, and the reason is not her talent alone. The reason is that she never handed anyone the blueprint for her insecurities. Now wait, I know some of you are already thinking, sure, but she's famous. She can afford to be herself. And I need you to sit with how backwards that logic is. She was not famous first and then authentic. She was authentic first on auditions, in rooms where she had no power, in front of people who were deciding whether she was worth investing in. And the authenticity was the thing that made her magnetic, the thing that made her unforgettable, the thing that made casting directors call her back not because she was the most technically precise, but because she was the most alive. She did not earn safety and then relax. She relaxed first and the safety followed. That order matters, because you've been waiting to be safe before you'll be real. And she is telling you, with her entire life and career, that you have it backwards. Lesson 2 hits close to home if you've ever been told you were too much. Jennifer Lawrence was told early in her career that she needed to lose weight for a role. Not just implied, explicitly told. By people in positions of power. By people who controlled whether she worked or not. And she has spoken about this experience not with trauma and not with bitter anger, but with a kind of clarifying fury. The fury of someone who looked at an instruction and recognized it not as industry feedback, but as an invitation to become someone smaller so that someone less secure could feel more comfortable. She did not take the invitation. She showed up to set as she was. And the performance she delivered, which earned her an Academy Award nomination at 20 years old, making her the second youngest Best Actress nominee in history, was delivered by a body and a person and a presence that was entirely, fully, and defiantly her own. You need to understand what that means. The version of Jennifer Lawrence that Hollywood tried to create would have been forgettable. The version of Jennifer Lawrence that Jennifer Lawrence created became iconic. The editing process that other people want to apply to your life will always produce a lesser version of you every single time. Lesson 3 is about failure, and it is about to reframe everything. Jennifer Lawrence has made movies that flopped. She has made creative choices that critics destroyed. She has gone through public personal crises that were covered in excruciating detail by a media that has never met a woman's pain it didn't want to monetize. She has been mocked. She has been underestimated. She has been written off. And she has come back every time, not as a chastened, careful, smaller version of herself, but as more direct, more honest, more willing to say the true thing in the room even when the true thing is inconvenient. Because Jennifer Lawrence learned something that takes most people decades to understand. Failure is not the opposite of success. Failure is the curriculum. And the people who treat every setback as data, as information about what to do differently, about who to trust, about where the real opportunities are, those people have an advantage that cannot be taught in any classroom. They have developed a thing that psychologists call resilience and that everyone else just calls backbone. You build it by going through things, not around them. Through them, think about the last thing you failed at, not the sanitized version you tell at parties. The real one, the one that stung, the one you still think about sometimes when you can't sleep. What did it teach you? And more importantly, did you let it make you smaller or did you let it make you smarter? Because Jennifer Lawrence chose smarter every time. And that choice, made repeatedly over years, is why she is still standing while careers built on image alone have crumbled. Lesson 4 is presence, and I mean this in the most literal, specific sense. Jennifer Lawrence is one of the most present human beings in any room she enters. Not because she tries to dominate the room, but because she is actually genuinely there. She is not managing her image while talking to you. She is not calculating the angle. She is not performing listening while waiting to speak. She is in it, fully. And in a world where most people are half present at best, one eye on their phone, one ear on what they'll say next, their brain 3 conversations ahead, full presence is disarming. It makes people feel seen. And people who feel seen become loyal. They become advocates. They become the kind of supporters who carry your name into rooms you've never entered. Jennifer Lawrence has built one of the most durable fan bases in modern entertainment, not because she is the most technically skilled actress, though she is extraordinary, but because every person who has ever encountered her in person or in interview walks away feeling like they actually met her, not a version of her. Her. You want that in your own life. The question is whether you're willing to put down the performance long enough to actually show up. Here's a cliffhanger for you. We're coming up on one of the most important lessons in this video, something that connects Jennifer Lawrence's specific brand of courage to a concept in behavioral psychology that researchers have been studying for decades. It's about why the people who seem the least concerned with being liked often end up being the most beloved. And when you hear it explained, you're going to understand something about human connection that most people never figure out. Don't go anywhere. Lesson 5. Jennifer Lawrence does not perform competence. She admits what she doesn't know. She asks for help in public. She messes up lines and laughs at herself on set. She has spoken in interviews about struggling with anxiety, about feeling lost, about not always knowing what she was doing. And here is the psychology I promised you. Researchers call this the Pratfall Effect, a phenomenon documented in 1966 by psychologist Elliot Aronson, showing that a person who seems highly competent actually becomes more likable, more trustworthy, more relatable, more magnetic when they reveal a human flaw or vulnerability, because the flaw signals authenticity. It signals that the person is not hiding from you, and the brain, which is wired to detect deception as a survival mechanism, relaxes around people who aren't hiding. It opens up. It leans in. Every time Jennifer Lawrence trips on the stairs and laughs instead of cringing, she is, whether she knows it or not, leveraging one of the deepest wiring principles of human connection. And you, sitting there polishing your personal brand and hiding your confusion and pretending you have it all figured out, you are working against your own magnetism. The vulnerability is not the weakness. The vulnerability is the asset. Lesson 6 is about the myth of the right time and the right image and the right moment to be yourself. Jennifer Lawrence did not wait until she was powerful enough to speak. She spoke about pay inequity, about body image, about the absurdity of industry standards. When she was young, when she was new, when speaking put real things at risk, she did not wait until she was safe. And this is the pattern repeated across every person who has ever built something that lasts. They start before they are ready. They speak before they are certain. They move before the path is clear. Because the path does not appear before you move. The path appears because you move. You are waiting for some future version of yourself, more confident, more settled, more established, to do the things you want to do. But that version of yourself is built by the doing. There is no shortcut. There is no prep period long enough. There is only the step taken now, imperfectly, with whatever you have. Jennifer Lawrence took the step at 20 years old in front of the entire world. You can take yours right now in whatever room you're in. Lesson 7 is the one that's going to make you uncomfortable. Jennifer Lawrence does not people please. She does not contort herself into shapes that make other people feel better about being mediocre. She has said no to roles that didn't feel right. She has walked away from deals that required her to compromise who she was. She has told the truth in rooms where the truth was inconvenient, and she has paid prices for all of it. Relationships that cooled, opportunities that didn't materialize, headlines that were not kind. And she paid those prices with her eyes open because she understood something that most of us don't figure out until we've lost decades to the alternative. The cost of people pleasing is higher than the cost of honesty. Because people pleasing is a loan with compounding interest. Every time you betray what you actually think to keep the peace, you owe a little more of yourself, and eventually the debt comes due. Eventually you look up and realize that you have organized your entire life around other people's comfort and built nothing of your own. Jennifer Lawrence paid the short-term costs and kept the long-term asset, which is herself. That is the trade, and it is available to you right now. Think about this. The people whose opinions you are most afraid of, the ones whose judgment shapes what you say, what you wear, what you post, what you dream, where are they going to be in 10 years? And more importantly, where are you going to be if you keep organizing your life around their approval? Lesson 8, Growth Mindset, Jennifer Lawrence Edition. This is the Stanford connection I hinted at earlier. Carol Dweck's research on growth versus fixed mindset shows that people who believe their abilities can develop through effort and learning outperform those who believe talent is fixed in almost every measurable domain. Jennifer Lawrence approaches her craft with a growth mindset so obvious it's almost aggressive. She has spoken about watching her own performances and cringing. She has talked about taking roles specifically because they scared her. She has described the process of acting not as the deployment of a natural gift, but as the continuous, sometimes painful construction of a skill. She believes she can get better, and because she believes it, she does. Every film is a new problem to solve, not a verdict on whether she belongs. That orientation, failure as data, challenge as curriculum, is not a personality type you either have or don't have. It is a decision. It is a practice. And you can start practicing it right now, today, with whatever you're working on. Lesson 9. Authenticity is your competitive advantage. In a world of carefully managed personal brands, of filtered highlight reels, of aspirational aesthetics designed by algorithm and committee, genuine specificity is rare. Jennifer Lawrence is specific. She is not a smooth, broadly appealing, safely inoffensive public figure. She is a person with particular opinions and particular humor and particular flaws and particular passions. And that specificity is exactly what makes her irreplaceable. You cannot manufacture her with another actress. You cannot franchise what she is, because what she is singular, and so are you. The version of you that you're hiding, the specific, particular, strange, embarrassing, passionate, opinionated version, is the version that cannot be replicated or replaced. The smoothed down version, the performance, the persona built for approval, that can be replaced easily because there are 1,000 other people doing the same performance. The real you has no competition. That is not a platitude. That is a competitive advantage. And now, lesson 10, legacy. What you build when you are not building for applause. Jennifer Lawrence is currently in the stage of her career where she is making choices based entirely on what she actually wants to create. She is choosing projects based on genuine interest. She is building a life, not a brand. And the difference is visible. The work has a different quality, the presence has a different gravity, and the audience, the real one, the durable one, the one that will still be there in 20 years, feels it. Legacy is not what happens when you're trying to build legacy. Legacy is what remains when you build something real, when you spend years showing up fully, working honestly, and refusing to trade your actual self for a more marketable version. The marketable version has a shelf life, the real version compounds. And that word, compounds, is something I want to come back to. Here is what this video has been building toward. Here is what Jennifer Lawrence's entire story points to, whether she would frame it this way or not. The choices you make every day to be a little more honest, a little more present, a little more brave, a little more yourself. Those choices do not produce visible results immediately. They produce small, almost imperceptible shifts, but those shifts accumulate. They compound. The confidence you build by speaking up once makes it easier to speak up again. The trust you earn by being real once makes people more likely to trust you with more. The creative risk you take and survive makes the next risk less terrifying. This is not metaphor. This is mathematics. And there is a video right at the end of this screen that goes deep on exactly that. The power of compounding, applied not just to money, but to everything you are building right now, today, whether you can see it yet or not. Click it. Watch it, because the person you are becoming, through every small honest choice, every imperfect brave step, every moment you decide to be yourself instead of your performance, that person is more powerful than you currently have the ability to imagine. And Jennifer Lawrence, who tripped on the Oscar stairs and got up laughing and walked to the podium and accepted the award and looked at the room and smiled like someone who knew exactly who she was. She already knew it. Now it's your turn.